AITA for insisting on a paternity test before accepting my ex-wife's son as my own? I, 32M, was married to my ex-wife, Jane, 30F, for 5 years. Our marriage ended after I discovered she had been cheating on me for about a year with multiple men. She got pregnant and confessed that she doesn't know if the baby was mine or her affair partner's. A couple of months after the divorce I tried to reach out to her to see if the baby was mine but couldn't, and I learned through a friend she and her new partner had left the country. That was 2 years ago and I thought that was that. Recently, Jane reached out to my mother claiming that her kid is mine and in need of financial help. Jane told my mother that her partner left her when he found out the kid is not his. Now for context, my mother has been desperate for grandkids, especially since my older brother is gay and child-free, and I've been single since the divorce. She's been relentless in pressuring me to help out Jane. However, I have my doubts given her infidelity. I find it hard to trust her claims without concrete evidence. So I've insisted on a paternity test before committing to any financial or emotional support. If the child is indeed mine, I'll gladly step up and fulfill my responsibilities as a father. But I refuse to do so without proper legal documentation. My mother and Jane are both vehemently against the idea of involving lawyers or going through the legal process. They insist that the child is mine based on similar resemblances, like having blue eyes, which I have, but Jane has blue eyes as well. This issue came to a head when my mother posted a picture on Facebook of her and the kid titled my grandson. Now family members and some friends know about this issue and are contacting me. When I tell them I don't know if the kid is mine and want to do a paternity test, they are calling me selfish and irresponsible. My family members are saying my mother will only say that because she is sure that the kid is mine. My friend says I am an a-hole for punishing the kid for what my ex-wife did. There is a chance the kid is mine, but I can't shake off my doubts, and I refuse to be manipulated into a situation where I might end up responsible for a child who may not be mine. I'm willing to do what's right, but I need certainty first. But it's driving me crazy with so many people close to me saying I should just take responsibility. My older brother is the only one who is on my side, and he thinks it's because my mother has accepted the kid that others are willing to accept it too, and because of family bonds, which are major thing here. But I am standing firm on my decision to do a paternity test. Update. So, a lot of stuff has happened and I am exhausted with dealing with this issue. Despite trying to talk reason to my mother, I got nowhere. My brother and I managed to talk to our aunt, who is on my side after she learned what has happened. She was able to convince mother to talk to me, and we agreed to meet at her house. However, it quickly devolved into arguing, with my mother still insisting the baby is mine and accusing both me and my brother of betraying her for not giving her grandkids. My brother finally snapped and asked her if she was willing to lose 2 sons over this. That made her go quiet. With my aunt's help, we convinced her to talk to Jane for the paternity test. A couple hours after I left, Aunt called me, asked me to arrange the test. According to my aunt, it took some arguing between Mom and Jane to get her to agree to the test, but Jane eventually agreed. So I scheduled the test at a clinic, and the earliest appointment I could get was 3 days from that day. I relayed all of this to my mother and aunt and got the okay from them. The day before the test, my brother and I got a call from our aunt, and she asked us to come to our mother's house ASAP. When we got there, we saw our mother sitting on the sofa crying. I asked what happened and she said Jane is gone. Now I knew Jane was back in the country and was visiting my mother every day, but I did not know it was my mother who facilitated everything. My mother revealed that after Jane contacted her, she flew Jane and the baby out and put her in an apartment near her house and had been paying rent for her, buying her and the baby things for a month and a half before they told me. I live just an hour from my mother and I talked to her on the phone 4 or 5 times a week and she never told me. After Jane agreed to the test, she asked for money, as she told my mother that after the test confirms that I am the father, she needs to buy some essential home stuff as she intends to stay near here. My mother gave her an amount close to $8,000 in US dollars. After she got the money, she did not come and see my mother, so my mother went to the apartment and saw that it was empty. I asked why did she ever trust someone who has lied so much before. She said all her friends are grandmothers and they are always with their grandkids and she feels left out when she is with them. Then she gets up and says all of this is my fault. She comes up to me and slapped me and just went crazy, yelling and crying and kept hitting me. Aunt and brother managed to get her off me. She kept saying I was a horrible son, I should have just accepted the baby. She then turned to my brother and started yelling at him too, accusing him for instilling his child-free life on me, and told him that he was an embarrassment to her. Then she started off ranting, saying Jane was right to cheat on me. That if I had agreed to start a family with Jane back then, this would not have happened. For context, Jane wanted to try for a baby the 2nd year into our marriage, but I had to keep that on hold as I made a major career change, and Jane and I both agreed to wait until I was financially secure. I also want to point out this was not the reason she gave me for her infidelity. My aunt managed to calm my mother down and somewhat diffuse the situation and asked us to leave. She said she will try to reason with her. I've tried to call my mother the next day but she's blocked me on everything. My brother and I agree she needs therapy, but she's not willing to listen or talk to us. As for Jane, I am furious at her and wanted to find her. I asked my friends to help and told them what happened. They are idiots but they apologized to me and stepped up and supported me these past few days. I tried contacting different people through friends and their mutual friends until one of them put me in contact with Claire, who was one of Jane's bridesmaid at our wedding. I told her what happened and she was shocked at learning about it. According to Claire, Jane is back in the country of her partner, and a couple of days ago Jane called her and few others asking for money as she and her partner are going through some financial issues. Claire says she doesn't know if Jane and her partner are separated. Jane had never told her anything of that sort. She said when she talked with Jane, she only said they were struggling. I told Claire what Jane did and that Jane is insisting that her son is mine. Claire said that Jane told her that the kid is her current partner's 2 years back. Then she said she needs to talk to Jane and her partner to see what's going on. Claire kept saying she truly does not know what's going on but she is going to ask around. That was 6 days ago and I tried to call Claire but she won't answer me now. I am not going to pursue this anymore. I have my answer. So that's the update. Not the conclusion I wanted, but I don't care anymore. My mother still hasn't talked to me or my brother as of right now. I asked my aunt to let my mother know that if she refuses to talk to us or get help then me and my brother will go permanently no contact as well. Family still says I am in the wrong as it's my fault for not being married or have kids. I told them to F off and never contact me. My brother and I only tolerated them for my mother anyway. I now firmly believe that the baby is not mine.